Hey guys, Dave with First Place Auto Parts. And you know, one of the things that we want to Place Auto Parts YouTube channel is to bring meaningful content into you. Things that you could use every day, whether it's on your classic muscle car or truck, or your late model vehicle as well. And look, if you're like me, and I think a lot of you are, you probably have a truck somewhere in your driveway or your garage that you use on occasion as an actual truck. If you're like me, at some point in time during the week, you're gonna have something in the bed of that truck. And the reality is, look guys, we want to keep the bed of our truck nice as well. We're not talking about full-on work trucks that are hauling stone or concrete blocks. We're talking about a truck that 90 to 95% of the time we're using as a daily driver, but those other 5% of the time, maybe it's the weekends, we're going to put a dirt bike in the back, we are going to go to Home Depot, and you know, we just want to keep the bed of the truck nice, right? We don't want dents, we don't want scratches, and we certainly don't want places for rust to form. And in today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of the options you have for protecting the bed of your truck. Look, typically it comes down to one of two things. One is a bed mat or some sort of insert, whether it be a vinyl or a plastic insert or some sort of a spray and bed liner, but you have choices when it comes time to protecting your truck. Look, by protecting your truck's bed, not only are you ensuring that it doesn't get damaged, but you're also helping ensure the resale value of your truck down the road. So in today's video, we're going to take a little bit of a look at how you can protect the bed of your late model or your classic truck so you can use it as a truck and still have a good value. So stay tuned, and today we're talking about truck beds and protecting them with the right tool. Hey guys, if you like today's video, please consider subscribing to the First Place Auto Parts YouTube channel. We're going to continually be adding new videos every week, and we go to some pretty cool car guy stuff I'm pretty sure you're going to want to see. Some of the earliest protection that we had for pickup truck beds were in the form of a floor bed mat. And these floor bed mats were typically made out of rubber. Back when I was in high school, when I was driving a 76 Chevrolet Silverado, I made a bed mat out of 2 strips of conveyor belt. Look, it wasn't perfect, but it did its job. In my late model Ram, the first thing I did for that thing was buy a bed mat for it. Look, I want my bed to look in my truck to look like the outside does, and I take pretty good care of my stuff. I keep it washed, waxed, and scratch free. But I also use my truck to haul my dirt bikes and other kind of home improvement stuff, so I needed something to protect the floor. The nice thing about bed mats today is they are made for every body style and every make of truck. They are custom cut. They fit very well. The downside is that, quite honestly, they don't cover the fender wells or the inner bed. So what you're getting with a bed mat is literally that protection for the bed floor. Okay, it doesn't do anything. So if you're going to have stuff going either over or on top of your fender wells or going to be inside your bed, it will not protect that. But what a bed mat does do is it helps reduce load shift. Being that these bed mats are typically made out of reinforced rubber, whatever you put in your bed is going to have a better chance of staying put than if you put it just on a painted surface. It's not as good as a spray-in or a drop-in bed liner, but it's way better than just putting it down on the paint. Now, some of the pluses of a bed mat is you can take it out and clean underneath that thing whenever you want to. And the second thing is they're super easy to install. Typically, all you do is you unroll them, lay them down on the bed, and they stay put. The third great thing about a bed mat itself is that they're fairly inexpensive compared to a spray and bed liner. So you can put that bed mat in either only when you're going to use it, or you can leave it in there as well. Again, the technology for these things have come a long way, and with those little knobbies underneath them, like the one in my Dodge Ram, it keeps the bed itself very dry so you don't have that water buildup, and you're also reducing the abrasion. The other thing that they do is they do help keep cargo in place when it's on top of the bed mat because it's made out of rubber. Some of the downsides to a bed mat, there's a couple of them. Look, they don't protect, as I had mentioned earlier, the inner fender wells for the biggest part. And those are the things that are going to get beat up, especially the sides, the vertical sides of the inner fender well, especially if you're putting something in there that's just big enough to fit in between them. The other thing is they do not provide 100% skid resistance, okay? So while they're good at making sure that your cargo doesn't shift, the mat itself can still slide around a little bit, which means you still want to strap something down sound really good if you have it on top of a bed mat and it's very heavy. And the other thing is that they don't really provide the floor with any kind of structural support, right? You can put something there very heavy. It is possible to dent the floor or the bed with some sort of a heavy product. Again, bed mats, if you're planning on hauling things like stone and dirt, I just don't recommend it because those things are going to get underneath the bed mat. But if you're hauling things like 2x4s or even things that you would typically put in a bed that won't fit inside your trunk or your SUV, a bed mat might be a good option because quite honestly, they're very affordable and they're easy to take out when you don't want to use them. But let's say you want to protect your complete bed, not only the sidewalls and the fender wells, but also the front of the bed and the floor. Now we're talking about either some sort of a drop-in bed liner or a spray-in bed liner. The first things first, the drop-in bed liner were traditionally made out of plastic, very hard thermoformed plastic that was custom made for your body style and vehicle, meaning that they fit pretty well. But notice I said they didn't fit exactly. And what a plastic bed liner can do over time is it can chafe the paint on the actual bottom part of the bed and create some bare spots. And what you'll find is these plastic bed liners always aren't so great at getting rid of any moisture that might get underneath there. And then you would get some rust that would form. So it really doesn't, while it doesn't defeat the purpose of having a bed liner protecting the bed itself, the plastic drop-in bed liners, they had their drawbacks. They're fairly effective at protecting the bed from impacts, but the reality is that they could cause damage in their own right on the places where they rested against the paint. The next rendition of a drop-in bed liner is now a carpet bed liner. And look, these things are really pretty cool. They're resistant to chemicals such as gasoline and acids and things of that nature, and they don't absorb water. The other neat thing is they're really contoured. They contour exactly to the inside of your bed. And if you have to get in that thing and you're on your knees working on something, it doesn't hurt quite as bad having a carpeted bed liner. But again, a carpeted bed liner, it's not going to give you protection on the floor against impact resistance, right? It's soft, it looks good, it maintains its looks. It fits a little better than a plastic drop-in bed liner, but it isn't the ultimate, right? This thing is something that is placed inside, still has to rest on the paint, and you still have to be concerned with water getting between it and the bed itself over time. What you don't get as much with a bed rug type bed liner is you don't get that abrasion. So they're a little kinder to the paint, but it's still something that can cause some abrasions over time. The next kind of bed liner has nothing to do with drop-in, but everything to do with spraying. And look, spray-in bed liners have taken over bed protection by storm. These things are not cheap. Like, these things can cost several hundreds on up, but they're infinitely modifiable. And by that I mean you can get a spray-in bed liner in about every color you could ever hope to find. They have a very good friction to them, meaning that when you put a product inside the bed, typically these things have a very coarse, almost like sandpaper surface when they spray this stuff in, and it's very good at holding cargo in place. One thing that a plastic bed liner just can't say. A bed rug bed liner is a little bit better, but again, your spray-in bed liners, because they are literally sprayed over the surface of the bed, they're not going to shift at all. Also, the neat thing about a spray-in bed liner is it follows the contours of your truck. It gives it almost a custom look, and it's very durable. So spray-in bed liners definitely have their place. They're not inexpensive, and depending on what your budget is, and look, what you want to do with your truck, because a spray-in bed liner is permanent. You're not going to take that thing off. If you ever, God forbid, have to do repairs on the bed of your truck, good luck. That's going to probably cost you a little bit more just to have that done, because you're going to have to deal with that spray-in bed liner. But if you add something like, say, a fifth wheel where you have to mount something in the bed, a spray-in bed liner makes perfect sense. Again, it's something that is infinitely modifiable and can either be sprayed around a component or actually cut off or cut away so you can put that fifth wheel plate in the back of your bed. In the end, how you protect your truck's bed is really up to a couple of things. And the first thing is, what's your budget? Okay, a bed mat is going to be far cheaper than a spray-in bed liner, with a drop-in bed liner being in between the two. The second thing is, do you need full coverage for protection for your bed? Look, do you need the sides and the front of the bed and the tailgate protected too? If you do, you may want to consider either a drop-in or a spray-in bed liner. If, like me, really all you're concerned about is protecting the floor when you have something back there, then a bed mat will do. Look, I have a trailer, actually I have a couple trailers, for if I'm gonna put anything too big back there, I'm gonna put it on the trailer, because the reality is these trucks are really tall nowadays, and getting stuff in and out, especially at the front of the bed, can be difficult. So for my application, the bed mat works great. And the third thing is, are you gonna sell your truck soon? Look, a spray-in bed liner is an investment, okay? A bed mat is a much less of an investment. If you're gonna sell your truck soon and you think you're gonna use your truck some of the time, fairly light duty, then a bed mat might be what you need. However, you're gonna keep your truck for a while and you're gonna haul things in the back of your truck that's gonna be either on top of or up against either the front of the bed or on the fender wells, then a spray-in or a drop-in bed liner might make sense for your vehicle. There's so many options out there, guys. And it's one of these things as truck owners, like these trucks aren't cheap anymore. And the reality is we're talking about not only making a non-slip surface so it's safe to haul stuff in the back, but we're talking about protecting our resale value as well. So when you have a truck, make sure you consider, especially if you buy a new one, getting some sort of form of protection for the back of your bed. Guys, I hope this helps you understand or shed a little bit of light on what options you have when it comes time to protecting the bed of your truck. It doesn't matter if you have an early American classic truck or a late model vehicle, there's the right tool for every job. All you gotta know is how much do you wanna spend, how much protection and coverage do you need, and quite honestly, how long are you gonna keep your truck? Is it a good investment? At First Place Auto Parts, we have got tons of restoration and performance parts for your classic American muscle car or truck, and we have a lot of neat stuff for your late model truck as well. It's always open and super easy to use. Just go to firstplaceautoparts.com, and there you will find what you need to keep your vehicle on the road and keep it protected. Guys, until next time, keep the hammer down and keep it between the guardrails.